I think this is the last one for the day. Maybe. I gotta find something funny to talk about at some point. But continuing down the kind of more, just things that have been rattling in my brain. My brain's entirely too serious, guys. I mean, look at me. I've got a Monty Python t-shirt, a Playboy hat, and pit vipers on in a house coat. Ladies, hit me up. I got Star Wars socks on, and my jogging pants are mustard yellow. You know what I'm working with. All that to say that I want to talk about mental health and addiction today. Because right now I feel I'm going through a moment where I'm dealing with some people. I'll leave that as a pregnant. Some people in my life that are struggling with these issues. And it's really hard. They never... I was a person in addiction for a good chunk of my life. And I'm sure I know that it was very difficult on the people around me, especially my daughter's mom, where it kind of hit its worst point. Now that I'm in recovery, I know that my addiction was a coping mechanism for much deeper issues. Issues that I hope I'm getting better from. I think I am. I'm certainly not reacting the same way I used to, and I'm certainly not as angry as I used to be. I'm not as scared as I used to be. Ergo, the Playboy hat and the pit vipers. Like, I'm accepting my weirdness. I'm accepting that I'm kind of a kook and a dork and a bit of a douchebag all rolled into one. I accept it, and I love myself for it. I think it's funny. I personally think it's hilarious. Let me start off with this kind of funny yet positive message. I know what a mess I am, and I kind of love it. And I know my vices, and I kind of love it. I kind of love that I'm this weird juxtaposition of a person. But I know that a lot of my life, where I was fighting my acceptance of myself, I was very scared. And addiction often starts there. And there's other things that can trigger that. I mean, if you're suffering from mental health issues and you're constantly paranoid, I can't imagine that addiction is too far off just to deal with the constant fear, which is nothing that is the addicted person's fault. If they're paranoid schizophrenic, that's not their fault. It's a chemical imbalance in their brain. They're sick. Just like if they got, gout or some sort of serious ailment, they're sick. It's not their fault. The problem is when the brain is sick, the whole thing can go off the rails. It's so, mental health is so important, and there's not enough being done to support mental health. I am happy that the world now recognizes mental health a lot more than it used to. It's just like, put them in the asylum and put them in a funny coat. That looks not too far unlike what I'm wearing in Burgoyne today. By that same token, we're still not doing enough for it. And it's really challenging to deal with. Especially if that person or people has an impact on your life. And it's hard to watch, and it's hard to... There's a part of me that says I need to help them because I was helped. There's a part of me that says I need to make sure that they're in recovery before they do more damage to themselves or others. But there's also a large part of me and some support that I have that's saying, don't try to fix this. And again, recognizing I think a big part of what I have to deal with is recognizing that I can't decide when they get better. And I think that's a big challenge with dealing with addiction is I have no control on when enough is enough for them. It's challenging to watch. I feel like my role is to do what I am supposed to do, set healthy boundaries for sure, so that I don't hurt myself or let myself get hurt. And that's harder to do than to just say. Setting healthy boundaries meaning can't force them to do anything, have to roll with the punches, have to plan accordingly for a period of time, maybe hope for the best and plan for the worst being a big part of it, and not to set expectations that things will get better every day, because they statistically won't. To not get too disappointed when things really go through a rough patch, because that's part of the disease of addiction or mental health challenge. And if it gets to be too much, I have to have the courage to walk away and understand that that is what is best for me. I can't imagine what that would be like as a parent, because I don't think I ever could, as a parent, do that. I think that's probably the most challenging position to be in. I think having a parent in addiction would be also extremely challenging, but a child with a parent in addiction would probably be the most challenging, because there is no walking away. And as a parent, I could never see myself walking away from a child with it. I'm so happy my daughter is well and is doing well and is handling herself well. She's definitely not who I'm talking about today. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Some things that I've learned over time is don't try to control, don't try to convince. Make your case, make it once. And if they choose not to listen, you've done your bit for king and country, as they say, or queen and country, right? So you have to have not you. You're not the one dealing with it. Or if you are, hit me up. But I have to have the courage to say I can't help this person because they don't want to be helped. Mental health is an even bigger challenge, because often there needs to be intervention, forced intervention, to get them to help themselves, and serious work and serious resources, which are often not available. In the case of addiction, for me, what had to happen, it's a story I'm sure many of you have heard, there had to be a moment of such desperation, fear, and shame, a rock bottom, that I had to change. I had to change because in a moment of pure selfishness, I knew that if I continued down this path, I would lose everything that I had. That is a selfish thing to think. But it was a moment where I realized this doesn't turn out well. My experience is that people in addiction have to go through that moment to have that desperation, to have that push to maybe say, hey, I'm not sure if I can deal with the things I'm dealing with and I need help. And that's where you can start down a program to teach them compassion, empathy, and growth. But dealing with it until that point, man, oh man, it's a challenge. Even for somebody like me, who I feel I have been exposed through my sobriety, I've been exposed to a lot of people with these challenges. I'm just also really grateful I never had to grow up with it. And I'm grateful that I got into recovery when my daughter was still very, very small. So she didn't have cognizant memory of me being a mess. And it's given me, certainly recovery's given me the wisdom to help. I think it's given me the wisdom, maybe not. But certainly when I see my daughter being challenged with the everyday things of growing up and becoming a teenager, and or friends that are going through challenges at work or in relationships or with family, I tend to think of my own experience as the best teacher, because I always like to joke like I made every mistake. You can ask me, don't feel judged. I probably did it too. I don't know, it's just challenging to deal with, and especially if that person has influence on your life, impact on your life, it's really hard. So, just stay up and stay strong, and yeah, I'll figure this out, or I'll figure out something else to do. Cheers.